Jagrata. Truth is an extremely simple thing. In all situations, at all times, truth is very simple. It is the human mind that makes things complex. If even once you're able to see things without yourself in the way, then you see truth. And you realize that it is always there. It never changes in its presence, but can never be grabbed or defined or touched in its name, in its essence. And there are two things when you have a state of clarity, albeit momentary, that you learn. You learn first and foremost that truth exists, that it's okay. And you learn second that you are in the way, that you're distorting things, that you are making things appear other than the way they are, and that while you're doing that, you will never know peace. You will never know love. You will never know truth. And that the only thing that is needed in order to come into truth is to get out of the way. It's that simple. But instead, what we try to do is to know truth, to create truth, to become truth. In other words, instead of getting out of the way, we try to be it. And that's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. That part of you that is distorting truth can imitate truth to the best of its ability, and it will be very far from truth. Very, very far. No matter how much it looks like truth, it is not even close. It's like the difference between a really, really, really good photograph and the object it was photographing. Can the photograph ever get good enough to be reality? Of course not. By its very nature, it's a photograph, and the other is reality. By the very nature, that part of your being of which I'm speaking is mind. It is illusion. It is fantasy. It is concocted of your imagination. It's like a photograph. It tries to reflect reality. It tries to take all the pieces that have been put in to the mind through the time that you have been receiving pieces through your senses. And it tries to piece them all together like a puzzle to look like reality, to reflect reality. And it tries very hard. And you build concepts and opinions and views and values and hopes and dreams, preferences, and that's what you do with that part of your being. I want to ask an honest question. In a photograph, perhaps it can be too shiny, so it doesn't reflect light properly, it doesn't look right. Can that be true with reality? A photograph can perhaps be grainy. We have a problem here if you look close with your magnifying glass. Can reality be grainy? These things that show up in a photograph, such as blurriness, such as graininess, such as so on, these are unique and distinct to the attempt to image reality. They have nothing to do with reality. So trying to get rid of graininess or trying to get better lighting and trying to change those new words that didn't even exist when we were dealing with reality obviously have nothing to do with reality. So I want to ask you, and I'm asking you to take a moment to look at it. In reality, reality, trees, dirt, grass, humans, animals, reality, that which is here if you're not. Are there any concepts? Are there any concepts in reality? Of course not. What is a concept? It is something the mind does to try to imitate reality. It has a concept of reality. By definition, the word means it's made up. A concept is something you make up. Views, do they exist in reality? These are mind things, aren't they? We give such credence to them. We give such value to them. But concepts, views, opinions, beliefs, they all belong to mind, don't they? They don't exist otherwise. They are what you do with your mind in an attempt to reflect reality. What about hope? Is there hope in reality? No. There's just reality, isn't there? Hope is what your mind does in its dream of what reality will do next. That's what hope is. Now we know where hopes and beliefs and concepts and views and opinions and preferences come from, don't we? You make them up. Come on, tell me the truth, don't you? You sit in there and think about them and decide which ones you want to have. You just make them up in your mind. I think it's neat. Where does reality come from? Now that we know that those things are made up, where does reality come from? What are the forces that determine reality? If we now understand the forces that determine hopes and dreams and views and concepts, it's very real. It's very different. Reality is the result of all that ever was. Everything that is a cause that sets into motion an effect. And that effect becomes a cause. And this is how time moves forward from the beginning. Passing causes, which are also effects. In any moment, it's like two sides of a coin. Cause and effect are one and the same thing, aren't they? How can you distinguish? It is an effect of something and a cause of something else simultaneously. This is the underlying law of creation. And this force of cause and effect, following the laws of creation, are marching forward through time. And they are the result of all that ever was. The color of your hair, the color of this carpet, whether the sun is shining today. Did you dream it up? Is it part of your concepts or views or opinions or preferences? No. It is the result of all that ever was, isn't it? Period. Please meditate on that. Understand how powerful the heritage is behind the now. It can never be discussed enough. It's awesome that you have the right to even stand in it. Nothing that ever was didn't have an effect on what is. And I'm talking about from the beginning of time. The dinosaurs affected whether the sun is shining now, albeit very far away, and the influence just tweaked its way through. But I guarantee you, if one dinosaur, you change the pattern and the existence of one single dinosaur, and the now will be different. Isn't that neat? You change by 1 gram the weight of the planet Pluto 1 million years ago, and things will not be as they are now. Isn't that beautiful? So what is must be. Not that it's right, not in the human mental sense of right. It just must be, because it is the result of all that was. What's happening is, reality is. And then this other thing is also, all these views, concepts, opinions, hopes, dreams, preferences. We have the world of mind and we have the world of reality. They're quite different, are they not? Reality has got some heritage behind it. Mind doesn't. It just makes it up on the spur of the moment, anytime it wants, doesn't it? You do it all the time. If you wanted someone to like you and you really, really like them, you change your views real quick. Your opinions would boop like that. Oh, I didn't really, it wasn't such a strong thing after all. I can't believe I was looking at it that way. It just changed, didn't it? That's all it takes. And don't feel bad about that. That's good. That proves it has no basis. Don't sit there and think, oh, well, I should be more firm in my views and more committed to my opinions and my concepts. I should make up one set and keep that set I made up for my whole life. That makes me a strong person, makes me real. It means because I held these concepts for my whole life that they're more true than if I didn't. Who are you kidding? You made them up. If you make them up, it doesn't matter how long you keep them. You just kept something for a long time that you made up. Doesn't make it more real, does it? No. The only reality is reality. So it's okay that it keeps changing in there. It's good. You should stick your tongue out at it and say, see, I told you didn't know what you were talking about. I don't know why people get so upset if it gets proven that their mind was wrong. I want my mind to be wrong. And I don't ever want to get caught into thinking that it's right. You see, it's right. No, I love it when it thinks it knows something and it knows it absolutely, absolutely, totally true. And then it opens a book or looks at something and it was totally wrong. It just had remembered it wrong, that's all. Did yours ever do that? You see? You can't trust the darn things. They're crazy. They just make things up. All right. So there is the world of mind and there is reality. Reality has heritage. All that ever was and all of infinity that is creating now. The question then becomes, humans, how do they try to balance these worlds? First of all, are there really these two worlds? It's pretty strong stuff, isn't it? I mean, you really do live in the world of mind. You really do put significant meaning on your preferences. It's real. We put this stuff as real. We put very, very strong values on these things. So the world of mind has a tremendous reality to us. And of course, reality, although we wish we didn't have to, has some real strength to it. It's terrible, isn't it? You wish you could just make up whatever you want and that was what would be. But it doesn't. Reality has to follow the laws of cause and effect. So what you end up with is conflict. Serious conflict. What you end up doing almost every moment of your day is trying to reconcile what you made up in your mind with what's happening in reality. That's what causes all the pain. That's what causes all the suffering. That's what causes all the disturbance. Is what is, but then you got this other thing to deal with. That which you made up. And if they don't match, how do you feel? You make up some pretty crazy stuff, don't you? I mean, I've seen people just sit there and they've never even met somebody. They kind of, at school, sit across the room, all right? What they do with their minds about their relationship with this person. Whether this person is really looking at them and the fact this person really loves them and has a crush on them, and the person really what it is the person's too shy to say anything, all right? And you ever done that? Ever made it all up? Doesn't feel like you're making it up, does it? It really feels like it's happening. Now what happens if all of a sudden one day you get your gumption up after a whole semester and you walk up to say something to them. You know how they're going to react, don't you? They're going to be so grateful that you broke the ice and that you went up there and said something so that they could express what they've been holding inside, right? What happens when you walk up and you say something? They just turn around and say, oh, hi, excuse me, I got to go. You get hurt, don't you? You get hurt. Where? In your heart. Now we're going to bring a third thing into this. Isn't this fascinating? We have this world of reality, and then we have this world of mind. And we're now saying that when the world of reality doesn't match the world of mind, your heart hurts, doesn't it? It causes pain. It causes suffering. Have you come to understand that? Do you know the dynamics there? This is your life that we're talking about. That's what's going on. And because it causes pain, and it does, what do? You spend every moment of your life trying to make it match. Trying to make people say what you want to hear. Trying to make people behave the way that you have conceived that they are going to be behaved and supposed to be behaved. To try and have every single thing out there be the way you dreamt it up in here. And that ends up being how a human being lives their life. And it is phenomenal once you get out. The difference between living life and doing that. That is not living life. First of all, that generates a tremendous amount of fear and insecurity. Have you ever noticed? What are you afraid of? You're afraid it won't be the way you want it to be. You're rather insecure about what tomorrow will bring, because it could all change, couldn't it? Have you noticed that reality, is not very obedient? It's like it's really amazing. It does all sorts of just absolutely amazing things. Earthquakes, tornadoes, deaths, births. It's absolutely unbelievable the types of things that it thinks it has the right to do. And it just goes out there and does these things, and nobody even gets to vote on it. Not even the president has any say in it, and the Congress or nothing. It's almost just unacceptable, isn't it? In other words, reality does not answer to mind. But you do. And that's the problem. Now you have the cause of all suffering. That is what the Buddha meant when he said the cause of all suffering is craving. What we just talked about is craving. What you do with your mind, the result of that is craving. You make up the way you want it to be, and then you crave that it will be that way. Don't think of craving as just lust or need or something like that. You've often heard that truth of the Buddha to be the cause of all suffering is desires. Desires are craving. Same thing. What are desires? Desires are, once you made up the way you want it to be, what you feel, what comes up inside of you, which is an urge to make it be that way. That's a desire. I need this, I need this. Really, just strip away the words. What is it saying? It's saying you have a model in your mind about how it is supposed to be, and you're trying to make it be that way. And that's what you call living, and that's what you call going about your life. It's not true. That's the great teaching of yoga, and it's really great. What yoga says is, that is not your friend. Your model's not your friend. The model is the cause of every single problem that you have. You don't want to get things the way you want them. Already, over the course of your life, how often has it changed your model the way you want them? One day what you want is to be free, to go to Europe, to be able to travel, to go all around the world. The other day what you want is a family and children that you can give yourself to. So it's bad enough that there's reality and then there's this model. The model keeps changing. You don't stand a chance. It's crazy. Unless you get out, it will destroy you. It has already destroyed you. Even if you think you're happy, you have no idea. It's only because you haven't experienced what it's like to get on the other side of that. What humans call happiness, that isn't happiness. Getting things the way you want them is not happiness. Why? Because you have to keep them that way. Because you reinforce the process that the only time you will be happy is when you get things the way you want them. Therefore, it's not such a good thing to get things the way you want them. The happiness that exists, that is unconditional, that exists because you let go of the way you want them. Otherwise, you will only feel joy, you will only feel love, and you will only feel happiness, and you will only feel peace when the model matches reality. You feel high when that happens, don't you? When you sit there and want something to happen and it's really a very important thing to you, what happens when it happens? Whew! Talk about Shakti. It really flows, doesn't it? I mean, just joy just wellows up inside of you and your eyes light up and the cheeks get all rosy. It's nice stuff, isn't it? What happens if it doesn't happen? The eyes get dull and the cheeks drop down, pale. It all becomes pale. The face becomes pale and the heart starts to hurt and you don't have any energy and you can't even get out of bed and you think you're sick and indeed you do get sick. Wow. All that happened is the model matched reality or the model did not match reality. Look at that. That's duality. You want to understand duality? You just understood it. You want to talk about being caught on the wheel of change? There you are. That's it. That is no way to live. What's the alternative? Well, there's only two ways. One is to spend your entire life fighting to become powerful enough to make reality fit your model. And guess what? You're still not going to be happy because you already see your model changes every day. Why is it that the suicide rate amongst the rich in America is higher than any other in the world? Why? Well, it's easy to know. Because while it doesn't match what you want, you have hope. When you have the power and the finance and the ability to make it be any day the way you want it to be, and you realize it still doesn't cut it, because you're so blocked, that model just closes your heart, and even if you make it be that way, you don't feel anything. You lose all hope. See, you can't hope that it'll be the way you want when it is. That's where all this romantic stuff comes, that, the joy is in getting there, and all this stuff that people did because they didn't know they could get out altogether. Yoga is very simple. See, truth is simple. Yoga says the model has no reality. It's like a cloud in the sky. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You can let it go. It's okay now. You don't need to think about how you want it. You don't. You don't need to think about how it's supposed to be. You don't need to judge it all together. You're a visitor. You're a sojourner in the midst of life. You're sitting on a planet in the middle of nowheres, spinning around a star. Who asked you to decide how it's supposed to be? Who asked you to pass judgment on the result of all that ever was that must be what it is? Now you want to see why there's so much suffering? It's pretty clear, isn't it? It's illusion. Let it go. Now your work is totally different. Instead of your work being to make reality match your model, your work is to let go of the model and experience reality. That's the turnaround. That's when you become a spiritual seeker. Not with the clothes you wear, not with the vows you take, not with how much you meditate, not with any of that. When you have changed the entire direction of your entire life to where no longer is it to make reality fit your model, but it is to release your model so that you can experience reality. You are a spiritual seeker. Otherwise, you are distorting in order to match your problems. Once you do that, you will be amazed at what you see. What you see is that reality itself is helping you. It's not like you have to do this yourself, that somehow you got to get rid of this awesome shell that you put yourself in. That's your shell. You're hiding from reality. How? By saying the way you want it to be. You're hiding by building these preferences and then keeping it all at a distance. Because you have control over what you want it to be, but you have no control over how it is. And that scares you. And so you'd rather live inside a shell of a dream in the mind of how it should be or how you want it to be than experience what is. And then you wonder why it never feels like enough. You wonder why no matter what experience you have, you can't sit there and feel, God, that was just totally fulfilling. If I died tomorrow, it was worth living because I had that experience. You should feel that way about every moment of your life. Because I experienced this moment, if I died in the next moment, it was worth it. It was worth it. How? How can that happen when you have this wall around you? So you let go. And you use life to let go. And what you will see is that reality is happening. You say to yourself constantly, am I here to change it, or is it here to change me? Am I here to tell it how to be, or am I here to experience what it is? Am I here to create my own God, made up of my own mind and my own fears and my own preferences, or am I here to experience the God that is, that which made all, period? It's a simple question. You ask it constantly to yourself. And obviously the answer is rhetorical, I hope. And because of that question, you let go. You let go. And you say, life, you're changing. This is changing. I didn't do it, and it's happening. Therefore, it's life. Something inside of me is afraid of this change. Something inside of me does not prefer this change. Take it. Take it. Through the act of change, take from me what is afraid of the change. Take from me what prefers that it doesn't change. And what will happen, you're going to realize that life's going to do it anyways. So your choice is you either let it do it, because it's going to have to do it, all right? You either let it do it and let it purify you in the process, or it does it and you fight with it and you resist and you struggle and you get scarred and you become angry and cold and fearful more because you didn't want it to do what it did. That's yoga. That's it, right there. From now on, that's what you do. You just let go. You let go. You honor what is. You no longer honor your concepts of what should be. You made them up. If you'd write them down and look at them and were honest, you'd see that every single one of them is based on your fears. Every one, the way it should be, is the way that doesn't hurt me. That's the way it should be. The way that doesn't hurt me, the way that makes me feel more secure and more right and more loved. Then that's what's right and that's what should be. It's not true. You let go of what's blocking you, and you will feel love beyond anything you ever dreamt of in your wildest dreams. You will feel peace that can never change, no matter what takes place outside, because your peace is not conditional upon it, the peace will remain. That is what Christ meant when he said, the peace that passeth all understanding. You can't understand that peace because it's not conditional. It is beyond that. So this is what you do with your life. This is the process of yoga. Jagrata.